Sorry about that.
Everybody
So
looting the corpses.
about an hour passes as you guys loot the corpses. It's still dead silent, middle of the night.
Wait,
What would
is
you
it
guys like to
nighttime?
do? Yeah, it's still nighttime.
Oh,
It's
wait. You
about.
said it was like. You said it was like about 2 or 3 like
I
around
was
that
yeah.
time.
It was about 3 in the morning when you arrived. It's been about an hour, so the sun is gonna rise soon.
So okay. Well, um, just saying right here. Castle. You guys want to go in the castle? If not,
Let's go,
we
man.
can do
That's all
something
we came
else.
here. You
Okay.
ready
Well,
for somebody? So let's go ahead and get into it.
all right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm coughing.
It's all good.
Why is it I can never find the the dice I need? Okay. You guys make your way past the corpses. The street winds and turns. It's dead silent still. No birds, no animals. You guys make your way up an incline towards the castle. The pathway snakes and curves as you do, and eventually you reach what looks like the gates of the castle. It's a large portcullis, or not a portcullis. It's a large iron door that's embedded into the ground, and it seems locked and shut.
Jeez.
I'll be right back. I blow
Jeez,
my
bless you.
nose.
All right, so it's embedded and everything. It's locked shut. Does any of you actually have anything that can pick a lock? Now that we think about it, since luck is away.
Mm,
No. But I do have an idea to open it. If we don't have anything to open it.
I will walk. I'll back away.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna
I'll
say I could
those guards.
I could cast Mel's minute meteors, Manny, and
Oh
then
my god.
launch all 5 meteors at the at the
God.
door. It probably would open it, I would think.
All right, if I ever just a heads up, if I ever tell you guys to stick near me, you're gonna have to trust me, okay?
I was following you, dude. It's
Sorry
not
about
my
No,
that.
fault I
no, no,
got
no.
spotted.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about as a feat. I have something that I'm really excited to use, but if I tell you that I'm using it, you have to be there.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. You guys make your way to the door. It's a large
I
iron door. It's about 20 feet up.
I look at McNeil.
Hit it.
I see this look in his eyes, and I immediately back away.
So
I
we
want
don't
to
have
punch.
anything to open the door?
I want to try
It
punching
seems
it.
locked and shut.
I want to try punching the lock.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Will that be with my strength modifier as well?
It would be yeah. I'll let you choose Dex or Strength.
I will use hit 22.
22.
Yeah,
Go ahead and roll a D4 for me.
4. 4.
4. You rear back and just put all your force into a punch and smack the lock as hard as you can. It does not give, and now your hand really hurts.
Okay, gents, I'm gonna need you to back up.
I'm already backed away. I saw that look in your eyes. Already.
Logan.
I
Yes.
want Finn to body slam the door.
Okay, make an attack roll.
I will get this. I will not let Miney have any source of winning in this. 16.
Okay. That
Wait,
hit.
plus 4. Plus 4. So that's 20. A natural 20.
Okay. Finn rears back and puts all his might and slams into the door with his two fists. It does not budge.
The door's on the ground, right?
Um, it looks like it's one of those doors that raises up. It doesn't open, it raises up.
Ah, okay. So you didn't say that. I would have
If
tried
I
to do
was
that
to
for my
destroy it, would that allow us gain us access to it?
How would you destroy it?
My
as
thought
he
was
he's thinking
I
about this,
would
I'm gonna go.
cast Melf's minute meteors and then hit the door with all 5 meteors.
You can certainly try.
I'm back. I'm already backed away, even just
Okay,
because I
so
know.
I'm going ahead and,
Slightly
and
mitigated.
calling out 5 meteors with Melf's minute meteors. I hope
Bring him back
Javon
with.
moves.
I pull Finn to the
Because
side
if you
and
get hit
I
by
go,
all 5 of them, you are dead. Just saying.
okay, I have enough money for for man to bring me back. I get the
No,
guy.
it would outright kill you. I don't think there would be any resurrection. I mean, it
Uh,
might. You might. I don't know how to work.
But
How
we're
it
at
works
what?
exactly.
well,
We were.
like, here's the thing. Like, whatever part of his body has been obliterated, I cannot revive that. I have to use cure wounds at that second just to make sure he doesn't die. Like for instance, like if his throat ripped out and everything, I would have to use cure wounds to make sure that throat is all cured up as I'm freaking revivifying
Well, I know
him.
because like something like double your health is like instant death or something. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
If you do enough damage to bring them into the negatives, and the negative is matches their current hit points, they would die outright.
I think there's no bringing them back either.
You can bring them back, but they die outright.
Revive.
There's no saving
Okay.
throws. There's no death saving throws.
Gotcha. Okay, so I cast my Mel's minute meteors, and I go ahead and hit the door with all 5 meteors at the same time.
Okay, roll damage.
Okay, so I think it's. Let me check it. Melf. Minute meteors. So it is 2d6 damage.
Oh,
I need to roll. What else am I on? I'm just gonna roll these 2 dice 5 times because it'll make it easier. I'm trying to look for dice. Alright, one more roll.
I can use Javon.
You said what?
I think that's me.
31 damage.
31
Okay.
damage.
Yeah.
You fire all 5 missiles, or little asteroids, at one particular point on the lower part of the door, and they all smash into it with just resounding explosions, and part of the door gives way, and now there's a hole on the on the bottom.
How
Would it
big
be
of a
enough to
hole?
get through?
It's big enough. It's about 6 feet high and 4 feet wide.
All right. I will go ahead and whoever's gonna be in the lead, I put light on them.
Okay, what's your marching order going through the hole?
Up B middle.
I'll be in the front because I think I have the highest AC now. I have the lowest health probably, but I have that. Oh, before we go, can anyone possibly heal me?
I
I'm
touch his
hurting a little
shoulder.
bit.
I rub his shoulder and say cure wounds. And give me a sec. I'm about to roll your health back. $23.
That will bring me to full. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Is there? Do you have anything for overhealing, Manny? Like, are you able to like get something that helps
No.
give you like temporary hit points? No. Okay.
I wish.
Okay, you guys
Sorry.
push through the hole into an open courtyard with lavish green trees. Lavish green trees. Um, a fountain in the center with flowing water, oddly enough. And this is a stark contrast to the desert around you. It's almost a mini oasis in a way, with the lush plant life and the vibrant fountain. It's still dead quiet though.
Good question. Can I cast? Actually, instead of putting on mining, I'd like to cast light right there on the fountain.
Okay. The fountain suddenly glows bright with a brilliant, vibrant light.
All right. And that's like 20 feet around it in a cone area.
Okay.
Well, not cone area. I mean a circular area, like circular radius.
Okay. I need perception checks from all three of you.
Natural 20.
Non-natural
Oh,
21.
Miney, I need you to roll me a d20. You cast a spell.
Fuck.
This is like before we actually are close to him, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm good.
Okay, you're fine.
18.
18.
Unnatural 21.
Okay. Miney, what was your total? I know you got a nat 20, but what's the total?
20.
20? Okay. You guys, you don't see anything immediately. The courtyard is empty. There are steps leading up to the castle, and the castle doors are open wide. As you make your way towards it, you start to hear birds in the trees as they wake up, as the sun begins to crest over the horizon. It is now dawn.
All right.
We don't see anything else though.
You don't see anything
No,
else.
Natural 20.
Anything suspicious with a 21?
Always wasting my nat 20s. God damn it.
I'm gonna, I guess, start heading towards the stairs.
Wait, Logan.
Yes.
Can you re-describe what you said?
The courtyard has a bunch of lush greenery. The fountain, which is now glowing. There's a staircase in the back leading up to the castle entrance. The castle's doors are wide open.
Okay.
And you're now hearing birds as the sun is rising.
Let's see. I like to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
It'll last for the duration of, 10 minutes.
Okay. Oh, you're making your way to the castle?
Yeah.
Okay, you
I'm gonna
guys
check the fountain.
are you gonna check the fountain?
Yeah.
Make an
Is there anything
investigation check.
Is there anything magical besides the light that I casted on the?
You're not getting
on the
any
fountain?
you're not getting any hits.
Okay.
Investigation.
Wait, what was he doing?
Checking the fountain.
13.
13. You find roughly 10 copper.
Ooh, money.
Did you just take that from the fountain?
I did.
Wow.
Fine, fine, fine.
Okay.
Taking money from the wishing well. I swear to God. I go ahead and start making my way over there slowly, making sure that like within a 30 feet radius, I do once I hit something that I'll detect it.
Okay. You guys make your way into the castle. It's pitch black. There's a little bit of sunlight filtering in through the windows, but the sun isn't high enough to illuminate the entire room.
What is there any object that I can cast light on within that area?
Make a perception check.
All right, 22.
22. There are some torches, dim, like unlit torches you can cast it on, which would probably illuminate the grand foyer.
All right, I place it on one of the torches and I throw it as far as I can.
Okay. Excuse me. The room is suddenly illuminated brightly, and you're greeted with a grisly sight. Strewn across the floor are just hundreds of bodies, all mangled and decomposed. There's plenty of skeletons, but it looks like there's more. Their corpses are still rotting.
Is it? Wait, does my magic? Wait, are they within 30 feet of me or what?
You're not picking
How
up any
far?
magic.
All right. Guess we're safe for now.
You guys begin to move through the corpses. They're just lifeless bodies, bloated and deformed. And as you get closer, you can see high up on a pedestal is a throne with a not so much a corpse, but it looks like a person still alive. They're not decomposed. They're not breathing either. Just sitting atop a throne with a sword across his lap.
Is my magic hitting him at all?
No. There's no magic.
What's across the lap?
A sword.
I like to. Let's see.
I want to
do
go ahead
it.
and summon that whatchamacallit.
Unseen
Call it,
servant?
Yeah, no, I can't do that one.
Nothing's coming from the sword either.
No.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and cast the animate dead and recall that whatchamacallit, the Colsons that I
Okay.
earlier. I'm
I-
gonna send him to go grab the sword.
Okay.
I'd like to go ahead and cast Sacred Flame on the body that's sitting on the throne.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
Oh. Wait, just an attack roll straight up.
Oh, you're using Sacred Flame. Then it just hits.
Okay.
It hits the corpse, and the corpse kind of shudders, but it doesn't move. Its arms are
16
just
damage.
okay. Its arms are just limp.
A radiant.
You hit where you hit, it burns, and then it burns away and reveals no damage.
You might want to recall him. This is a little
what?
shady as all fuck.
Wait, we see a sword or something? What?
There's a sword across the guy's lap.
Oh, there's like a
Yeah.
statue or something, or
It looks like
Whatever.
a person. They are not breathing, but they're not decomposing. So it looks like a body. And then across their lap is a sword.
Can I, by chance, inspect the sword? Like, just inspect it?
From a distance?
Well, that's
I mean,
to a distance of where I don't touch it, but I can at least, inspect it.
What, Javon?
So when my undead, I look at, say my undead's about to go grab the sword from me. You can expect it when he brings it back.
No, don't touch it. I really would not recommend touching that right now.
But you're not getting anything from that, right?
The undead guy is not. He did not take any damage from my spell.
But are you feeling magic from him?
There's no magic coming off him.
There's no magic coming off him, but
Then what are you worried about?
it's suspicious. For the fact that I use Sacred Flame, man. There's no burn on him. If you notice, there's no damage.
So you tried to burn an old dead body, and you're upset
With
about
a
doing
radiant light. With a radiant light.
that? This guy. Big Neil, are you with me, man?
what?
All right, yeah. Big Neil, are you with me? Pretty nice. sword.
Yeah, I guess so. What'd he say?
I'm gonna go ahead and
skeleton on the throne
can't
with the
hear
sword. I was like, this is the skeleton sitting on the throne with the sword. Manny just tried to burn him, and it didn't do anything. I'm about to send one of my undeads to go grab the sword.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and walk right next to your undead that's going over there and get close to.
Okay. Ran, you're undead. He reaches the top of the stairs. He reaches out and he grabs the sword. As he picks it up, the corpse remains still. The air is quiet. And he just picks up the sword, turns around, and starts bringing it towards you.
All right.
Don't touch the sword.
He's
Please
gonna
do not
walk up,
touch.
and I'm gonna order him to bring the sword to Vaughn.
He walks over and holds the sword out to you, Vaughn.
Can I inspect it without touching it?
You can make an investigation check.
Alright.
I'll make an Arcana check on it if that's alright.
Okay, well, just a heads up. Manual has Detect Magic out, and it's not pinging. The sword is not pinging.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's not
Um,
magical then?
No.
You said
Damn it.
investigation, right?
Investigation.
16.
16? It's a nice sword. It's ornate. It would probably fetch a pretty high price if sold to a collector, but it doesn't have any runes. It doesn't have any markings to indicate magical. It's just an ornate sword.
Can I
not
inspect
go-
the body some more?
Being
Make-
a person that steals things, this will definitely come in handy. Can I
I-
might put it in his bag of holding.
I opened up my bag of holding and let the zombie put it in there without me touching it.
Okay.
Well, if
Uh,
you're not detecting magic, then it should be fine.
Ignil, you're
don't
examining the
trust-
corpse.
You know
I
what?
don't trust
Yeah,
it.
16.
16. There is no
To make Manny
breathing.
feel better, I'm gonna touch the sword.
You're touching the sword.
I'm gonna touch it. I'm just gonna poke it with my finger.
You
See,
poke it.
There's no problem.
Nothing happens.
Nothing's going on. I'm gonna lick it. I'm gonna lick the sword just so he'll feel better. I'll lick the sword.
You
He,
lick the
licks it
sword.
as he's putting it in the bag of holding.
Nothing happens.
I put it in the bag of holding and then I just drop dead.
It wasn't magical, but it sure was poisoned.
Especially the hilt. It's not the blade. The blade was fine, but the hilt itself is extremely poisonous.
Okay.
God.
Ignil, you examine the body. It is not breathing. It is clearly a corpse. Very pale, with short brown hair, and the eyes are closed. It has like a pencil-thin mustache, and a rather not. He's a rather rotund gentleman. He looks like he's a little overweight, but there's no signs of life, no signs of wounds either.
I'm gonna look around, but before I do
I'm
that,
gonna-
I'm gonna shake his body really quick just to make sure he's not gonna move.
Okay. As you touch him,
Fuck.
I fucking knew it.
suddenly everything around you kind of grows cold. And for a brief moment, you feel yourself pushed and pulled through the air. You don't move. As you close your eyes and you reopen them, suddenly you are sitting in the throne, and stretching out before you is what looks like a mob of people shouting and screaming at you. You kind of look to your side, and there's a man in long robes, face hidden, just kind of standing there quietly. You without control, you raise your hand. He nods. He outstretches his arms, and he begins weaving magic runes in the air. The crowd begins to scream and shout louder as the doors behind them are closed. Then there's a bright flash, and you're back to normal. You're just standing in front of the throne.
And nothing, none of my actions felt my own in that.
No, it felt like you were just
Okay.
reliving a memory.
Okay.
I want to sound loud. I never sit touch the body. I just sit touch the sword.
So, good question. Since this body is not decaying or anything like that, can I assume that the body is cursed or anything like that?
Make an intelligence check.
Straight up one? Gotcha.
Well, if nothing else ever happened to me, I'm gonna investigate the room, I guess. If that's alright.
Okay.
5?
5.
17.
I need to stop investigating things. but
17.
I never can find anything.
Manuel, you get the idea that it's not magic keeping him in this state. It's something else. Not a curse, not magic. It might be just an effect of something. You're not sure, though.
Did I see anything that would stand out in the vision?
So, it's not a
Do I need to
magic or a
roll for that
curse.
or no?
Make a perception check to see what you saw.
4.
4. The vision was blurry. You couldn't make out faces in the crowd. You could barely make out the guy standing next to you. But it's burned into your mind now.
I touch him. I was gonna say, I touch him again to see the vision again.
Okay.
I go ahead and I'm getting closer. I go ahead and
And
touch the cloak.
And I
just
do my
see
best
what
to
it
pay
is.
attention this time, looking for anything that might help.
Okay. Hold on.
I go to
Yeah?
I go to touch
I'll be
the
out in a
cloak
minute.
to see what's going on.
Okay. Manuel, what are you doing?
I'm touching the cloak.
What
That the
cloak?
guy has.
The cloak that he has?
Yeah, the guy that I thought the guy was wearing a cloak or something like that.
He's wearing robes, like fine robes.
Robes. I went to touch the robes.
I was gonna
just
say,
to
is he
look at
Doctor
it.
Strange?
The robes feel nice to the touch. Miney, as you touch the corpse again, nothing happens.
Fuck.
Can I try touching?
Can I
the corpse
try
to see?
really hard to recall from the vision again?
Make an intelligence check. And Manuel, as you touch the corpse, as you touch the flesh,
Fuck.
and you touch the flesh, you're suddenly whisked away. You don't. It's strange to you. You feel yourself being pulled and pushed around as you're suddenly sitting on the throne, and the exact scene plays out again. You raise your arm.
Can I go ahead? Can I actually move my hands or anything like that, or look around? while
No,
I'm doing it.
everything that's happening is against your will. It's just like a replay.
I got
Okay.
a 9, by the way,
A
Logan.
9. What were you trying to do with a 9? Oh, intelligence to remember.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't make out that much. You can't remember it. It was
Okay.
so brief. But Vaughn, your your arm raised, the hood figure starts tracing in the air, the crowd erupts into louder screams, and then a
Can I
bright
get?
flash.
Am I able to see the face since I'm looking right now?
Make a perception
Like
check.
this in. Nat 20.
Nat 20. Under the hood, it is dark, but you can make out the bottom jaw with a scraggly beard. The neck is wrinkled, and as you notice that his hands are also very wrinkled, he's obviously a gentleman of older age, and it is a man. About average height, average build, but you do notice that around his neck is a large ruby necklace, and it's got some kind of rune symbol on it.
Am I able to depict what the rune symbol is, or
With
not?
a natural 20, yes. It looks like two spears crossed, and in the center is a skull.
That's a certain religious god, right?
Make a religion check for me.
There is a necklace
Right.
around his neck, though.
All right. Let's
Should I
see.
put the
What's my
necklace on, guys?
No, it's not on him.
Oh, it's not on the corpse. It's in the vision.
Yeah.
15.
Gotcha.
15, Logan.
15? Hold on. There it is. That's what I was looking for. 15.
Yeah. Yep.
You recognize as the symbol to Mira, the twin sister to Terra. She is
Alright.
regarded as one of the most evil deities, the goddess of death, and that when her father, the gardener, died, she went mad and was cast down into the 9 hells. So now she is more of she's like a fallen angel type thing.
All right. Guys, death. Cast in 9 hells. All right.
Okay.
And from that, there's nothing else.
There's the bright flash, and then you're back on the pedestal with Miney. Or Igneal.
I go ahead and move the corpse since I've already touched it and everything. I move him off the throne. I sit down on the throne.
It's comfortable.
Quickly enough. Can my bag of holding? Wait, actually, is this throne like nailed to the floor, kind of thing?
The throne, it's part of the floor. It was built into the stone.
Damn. I would take this chair with me if I could. The body. It still hasn't decayed or anything, right?
It's not decaying. You get the
Okay.
feeling that this isn't magical as much as it might be natural, like some kind of embalming process.
Oh, I get. Okay, I got you. This is to preserve the corpse.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, I go ahead and take his clothes.
Okay, you
His,
you strip him bare. You now have a set of fine robes. As you just lay the corpse naked on the ground. Is there anything you'd like to do, Ryan?
I guess while they're doing that, is anything else I guess important in the room?
Uh,
I look over to Rand. I said, "Hey, look, another servant."
I can try. I don't think I have speak yet, though. Not yet. I'll double check. Yeah, that ability. And then they animated. Weird. But then it helps if you can't really hear what he has to say.
Oh wait. Speaking of which, Can I actually? Nope, I can't. Never mind. Yeah, if you can. Yeah, do serve it.
Um,
While he's figuring that out, I'm gonna look around.
I don't have Speak to Undead, unfortunately, by me. Hell, I'll add them. Can I? So can I try and use animate data on them?
Yeah.
Alright,
You cast a
I'll
spell.
use-
The corpse opens its eyes, sits up, and just stands there completely naked next to you.
Can you talk to him?
I don't have Speak to Undead. Unless
Speak to
Fuck.
undead.
Oh,
become fucking necromancy.
if I put on that helmet of
Yeah, that's worth.
comprehending languages, could I talk to him, Logan?
You get the feeling that undead can understand you, but they can't talk.
Damn it.
Can I get him to write something maybe?
You can certainly
Oh.
try.
All right, I'll pull out some of the paper and pen and stuff from my forgery kit, and I'll tell him, I'll just tell us who you are, and what's happening here.
It just
Is
kind of
your
looks.
name?
It takes the pen and awkwardly holds it, and it just kind of looks confused at the paper for a minute before just drawing scribbles across the paper.
Well then, show us where you keep your gold.
It just scribbles on the paper again.
I'm gonna take the pen and paper. I'm gonna look it in the eye. Show me where you.
No, say lead us.
What now? Does it, Logan? Does it do the scribbles show anything? Like, can we understand it?
It's just scribbles.
Can I put on helmet of comprehend languages and see if it reveals anything?
You put on the helmet. All right, let me see if you have to attune to it.
I'm really surprised I don't just automatically.
Move, cat.
Where are you, zombie whisperer?
It does not require attunement.
Nice.
So you put it on, you cast a spell, just scribbles.
Damn it. I put the helmet back in my bag of holding.
Okay. As Javon, as you say, lead us to your gold, it kind of begins to walk down the steps. You guys follow it. It starts to go deeper into the castle. As you navigate your way through the halls, you see more corpses. Looks like signs of battle.
Mhm.
Scratches on the wall, dried blood. The corpse eventually leads you into what looks like a basement and to a large iron door that is partially ajar. It then kind of stops and just points into the room.
I'll tell him to go in first.
Hey, Logan, has 10 minutes been up already or not?
I'd say 10 minutes have been up.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cast light on the fat body of a naked man
Okay.
walking into the hole.
During our walk through the hallway, can I say that I took somebody's pants and put the pants on?
Yes. You gave him pants. Ill-fitting, but they're pants.
They're wearing. All of that. I'm gonna tell him to go into the room first.
He opens the door, and as he does, it illuminates into an empty room, and he just kind of walks in and stands there.
Son of a bitch.
All right. It's all chock full of AC.
Say again?
Who's chocked full of AC is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Me.
Please save us with your
From what?
from the impending questions. Walk in, please.
Really wish I
Are
had
you wanting me
something.
to go first? I'll go first.
Please.
You enter. It's just a cold, empty room.
There's something in there.
It's empty. You get the feeling that there might have been some gold here in the past, but there's nothing left now. It's been cleaned out. Whether by grave robbers or by other adventurers, you don't know.
Damn.
I'm trying to see if there's any way that we
But they
look
wouldn't take
around
the
s-
ornate sword? That's weird.
Can I look around to see if there's anything out of the ordinary?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
All right.
Were there any
21.
other rooms or passageways that we saw on our way over this way?
You passed by a lot of empty rooms. A lot of rooms that were just
Okay.
thrown open and they looked disheveled on the inside. Like they had been tossed and turned. But
Okay.
nothing else really stands out.
21 Logan.
21. It's cold. There's no breeze. But it's unnaturally cold down there.
With that 21, can I possibly actually can I investigate to see if there's like anything like out of the ordinary where I can just like touch it and it opens up a secret entrance?
Make an investigation check.
Come on, Obama. All right. 21.
21. You feel around the wall, checking for cracks or secret buttons. You don't find anything.
Damn. But it's unnaturally cold.
It's unnaturally cold. It might just be that it's colder underground. You're not sure.
Fine. I'll accept it. And I walk out.
Does it feel like there's ghosties around?
You don't know what a ghost would feel like, but you don't know.
I've been touched by a ghost, haven't I?
What would you guys like to do now?
Guess search every room just in case.
Okay, for the sake of brevity, just each of you give me an investigation check, and we'll just say you scan the whole castle.
Okay.
Okay. 18.
18,
3.
3. Javon?
My bad. I was going through stuff. 17.
17. You guys search the rooms. You find the rooms have been tossed. They've been looted and pillaged whenever it happened. It happened a long time ago. There's a lot of dust, a thick layer of dust settled on the rooms. You do find some rooms with corpses in them. Looks like guards that have been impaled. You also, strangely enough, you find guards that have no physical wounds on them. And they look as if they've been preserved as well, just like the body you saw on the throne.
Look at that. From that to your naked bodies.
But other than that, you don't really find anything in the castle.
All right.
Alright, I guess we could leave.
As I will do.
Logan,
Yes.
what do I have to do to get rid of vampiric touch and take on speak to the dead?
I'm not sure with your necromancer class. I'm not sure how it works, but typically the way it works is when you level up, you can pick new
Yes, I level up?
spells. Yeah.
That's what I figured. Okay. No problem. Well,
Also,
I'll keep this buddy for later
is-
then.
Isn't a necromancer also cleric, where basically just go ahead and you just sit there and take a short rest while you attune to new
His
spells or something?
his is a homebrew class that was on the D&D wiki.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, that's all good. I'll just wait till my next level up. But either way, I have this body in store for later, so we can always come back and ask some questions.
That
Okay.
is true.
Alright, so
Would you guys
I
want to
just,
stay in this castle for the night? Or for the day, or well, it's day now, isn't it?
It's about mid-morning, like 10 a.m.
Yeah, we can do that. We can go ahead, since we've been up all night, we can go ahead and stay here for tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and send our new naked friend away. I guess have them dissolve into the ground until we need them later.
Okay.
And I guess, I mean, while we're here, before that, I guess I can, we can go search other rooms. There might be something worth taking a look at while we're in here. Still pretty early.
Yeah, I think Logan, we maybe spend some more time searching, and then also like we'll just take a long rest here.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm going back into that gold room. I want to still check it out more. Even though I know there's nothing in there, I just go in there because I feel like there's something there.
Okay. You guys, you find rooms to sleep in. I'll say that you spend another 2 hours or so searching the castle. You turn up maybe like 5 copper, 10 silver just strewn about in some of the rooms that look like they may have gotten left behind.
Mhm.
But you don't really find anything else.
Alright.
Manuel, the room is just.
I
It's,
was more of looking for just points of interest, like some of them seemed out of
Oh.
place, but
you do find one room, Miney. The door is shut, and when you open it, it's not tossed. It's looks like it's been untouched for years. It's up in one of the towers as you climb up there, and as you examine it, you find a wardrobe full of red robes. The bed is neatly made. The nightstand has a glass of water that just looks untouched. It stands out. All the other rooms had been tossed, but this one stands out as untossed.
does the water have like dust on it? Like the bottle of water, is it a bottle or glass?
It's a glass.
Does it look kind of clean, or does it like
This
look
room
like it's
has
been
no
there a while?
dust. Oddly
Can
enough,
I
this
examine the room more?
make an investigation check.
I'd like to regroup, like with whoever is over in that tower place.
Okay, you make your way up to the tower with Igneal.
19.
19. The room is untouched, but oddly enough, it looks like it hasn't been as long. It looks like someone may have been here within maybe a week or two.
Hmm.
I like
With a
to.
19, are you like, is that like looking through the whole room? Like,
That's looking
and
through the
like,
whole room. You get the feeling that
okay.
Any
someone's
paperwork
been
and
there.
stuff around?
Say again,
Okay.
Javon?
Any paperwork or pages of stuff, anything written around?
There's an
Laying
empty
around?
bookshelf, but that's about it.
Hmm. And there's nothing else around this room, like,
No.
that seems like it might be kind of just out of the norm of this whole place.
It just looks like someone's been there.
I go ahead
Um,
and just lay on the bed since we're just relaxing here for the time being.
It's a comfy bed.
Are the robes super nice?
They're not fancy robes. They wouldn't fetch a high price, but they're made out of good material.
Oh, damn it, never mind. All right, I sleep in that bed for the day.
Okay. Excuse me.
Shit, I lost
We're
my.
just we're just laying on this bed back to back. That's just what's going on.
Well, I'm sleeping in the bed for the day, like for a long rest. So
Oh, you are.
You guys,
Oh yeah. Wait.
you guys all find beds. I'll say, and you all drift off to sleep. You guys wake without incident. It's about dusk now. You're all healed up. Your spells are back. What would you guys like to do?
Oh, you do have that caravan. Do.
we have a caravan. Oh yeah,
Well,
the desert thing or whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, we can leave here now.
If there's nothing else to really find for us to search in here, I can't figure out anything until we talk to our boy, that guy. Then I guess yeah, let's head out of here. Start heading towards the caravan area.
The nomads? Okay. Oh, the oasis.
Yeah, I'll wait for that one.
You guys make your way out. It takes you maybe 20 minutes to get outside the city again. You don't run into any more undead. You don't know if there are any more, but you don't run into any. You guys make your way outside the city, and I need perception checks, please.
Got you.
11.
11. Okay.
I got uh 9.
9. Okay. And Javon?
Got one.
A 1.
Yep.
Everybody but Igneal. It just looks like plain desert stretching out before you. But
I
Igneal,
can't see shit. My
you
eyes are actually
catch
closed.
on your peripheral a glint of light, and as you focus in on it, you can see what look like in the distance trees and the glinting of water. And you guess that is where the oasis is.
See where we need to go, gents. This way. I just start
Good.
going toward it.
Okay,
Good, cause this all looks like desert to me.
you guys begin marching. It takes you maybe an hour of trudging through the desert till you get close to the oasis. As you do, um, can I get perception checks one more time from all of you?
The 8.
8,
14.
14. Javon,
I'm sorry, what was that?
perception check.
I got a 1, didn't I?
No, we're doing it again.
Ah, my bad. Sorry. And I got a 2.
A 2. 1. Hey, it's 1 above your last roll.
This time I'm peeking. My eyes aren't fully closed.
Yeah, the sun hurts, but you're squinting.
It's bright outside.
But Vaughn, you see shapes and figures moving around the oasis. Quite a few of them. You also see looks like tents are set up around the oasis. Maybe 100 feet away from the actual trees. What would you guys like to do?
Me? We're not trying to kill anybody. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go over there and talk to them.
Okay. You guys start to approach. Are you being stealthy, or are you just going for it?
I'm just going to go for it. I'm gonna if I'm in vicinity, I don't see any crossbows
I'll
or
roll
anything like
stealth.
that.
Okay.
Wow.
Igneal, roll stealth check.
11.
11. Okay. Vaughn, as you approach, you see some of the figures stop, and they like
I put my hands up in the air and say, hey, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor.
you see them kind of wave at something off in the side, and you see 3. The figures you've been seeing have been wearing robes. These 3 come around the corner of a tent, and they're wearing armor. They have swords and crossbows on their back. They don't draw them, but they slowly start to approach you. It takes about 5 minutes before you guys meet just outside the oasis. As you do, one of them looks to be a little older than the other 2, kind of raises his hand and says, what are you doing here?
We were asked to come over here to see what you guys were doing. We're kind of curious, also.
Make a deception check.
Wait, I thought that's what we were doing. We're told.
Oh, yes. You're fine. You're fine.
No, that's ultimately your phone.
I know I'm not going crazy here.
They kind of look at you curiously, and they kind of nod their head. Are you here to trade?
I would like
You
to
have to
trade.
trade.
If you do have things to trade.
Okay. And by the way, Igneal, one of the guards is just kind of staring at you, giving you a weird look as you're hunkered down.
Kind of just wave at him a little bit.
He just kind of nods at you.
Nothing.
You're just like crawling like Metal Gear Solid Snake in the sand.
I'm just behind Manny. The rest of them can't see me except that one guard.
He's kind of shy. Sorry.
And they go, "Well, come to the village." And they usher 2 of them. The 2 of the guards go behind you, while the third one kind of leads you forward. As you guys enter the little village, it's just it's like tents and huts. They look like they can be torn down and rebuilt really quickly. They're all kind of just looking. You see kids and women kind of like hiding in the tents, kind of looking at you strangely. You get the feeling they don't get a lot of visitors.
Don't worry. I'm a follower of God. I am
They-
also a doctor.
You also notice that there is a medical tent, or it's got like a little. It's got a little white cross above the entrance, and you can see a woman kind of sitting outside the tent, half asleep in a chair.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. You guys are eventually led to the largest tent, which is in the middle of all the other tents. The one guard, the older one, goes inside. After a few minutes, he comes back out with a bald gentleman in looks like plate armor, a large broadsword on his back. He's got dull brown eyes and a clean-shaven face, and he looks really muscular. He kind of looks you all over and says, "My name is Iban. How can I help you?"
G'day. My name is Dr. Von Murdoch.
He nods.
I'd like to go ahead and acquire on information on some things like how you came into like good fortunes over here. Some guy, aka the mayor of that town close by, was kind of curious. I don't know if you wanted straight for the information or if you don't want to tell me or anything like that, but I'm just wondering.
He kind of scratches his chin and looks at you. Says, "You want to know how we acquire our fortune?"
Yes.
He kind of looks the three of you over and says, "How good are you in a fight?"
I'm
Very
pretty
good.
I'm pretty decent.
He nods. He goes, "Then maybe I can have a proposition for you. We have been experiencing some trouble with our oasis," and he kind of points over to the oasis. The guardian who guards it originally was guarding it for us, but something's gone wrong, and now it attacks anything that gets too close. Animals, us, and it's quite vicious.
By chance, this guardian, would I know if this guardian's like something of like a part of a god, like god or goddess's like circle or anything like that?
You would have to see it.
Okay. I'm gonna go while you guys are conversing and everything. I'm gonna go head over to the medical office.
Okay.
The tent, I mean.
Okay. You guys are led, or Vaughn, one of the guards kind of takes you and leads you to the medical tent. Iban is still talking to the two of you. He kind of says, "Are you interested in helping us?"
Sure. I don't know who is he talking to, me or Bond?
To both of you. To both of you. He's just kind of
One thing
asking the two of you. Vaughn left.
I already agreed. That's why I'm going to the medical tent. I don't know about those two.
Okay. Vaughn, you get to the medical tent. Inside, there are maybe 5 beds, 2 of which are occupied by looks like just sleeping people. Their arms and legs are bandaged up.
All right. You know what I'm gonna do? How many people are bandaged up
Just 2.
in the area? Just two.
There's 5 beds, 2 are occupied.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Prayer of Healing,
Okay.
and that is basically gonna allow me to heal all the. Actually, no. Actually, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use Fuck, what's the spell called? Well, the ability. I'm gonna use. Goddamn, where is it? I'm gonna go ahead. Where is it? You guys can continue what you're doing
Okay.
while I'm looking for it. I'm sorry.
Igneel and Ran, Iban kind of says, "The Guardian is no laughing matter. It is incredibly powerful. It it was originally constructed by my ancestors to guard the oasis for when we are not here. But now it's gone rampant. It just attacks anything that gets close to it. If you're willing to help, I would greatly appreciate it, and in exchange, I would trade you the
Oh.
information of how we acquired our fortune.
Okay. Okay, now I know what I was gonna use. Preserve life.
Okay.
Basically, how many people were injured? You said 2?
2.
Alright. Basically what preserve life is, what it does is, like, I can heal people up to 5 times my level,
Okay.
which my level is 5, so that's 25 health, and I can split it among the people, and that's how much health they're gonna get back, like split up between them.
Okay.
So one's gonna get 12, the other one's gonna get 13.
Okay. You cast it. You see that they both kind of rouse from their slumber, and they like look at their bandages and they start peeling them off, and their wounds are now healed. It looks like they kind of look to you with big eyes and say, "Well, thank you."
All's in God's work. And I take a sit right next to the nurse. You can continue what you're doing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The thing, I'll look to the Neil and I'll tell you I'm down if you're down.
Who are you saying that to?
You.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Also, Logan, these people are pretty wealthy, right?
As far as you know, you haven't seen any gold or emeralds or jewels around them, but from what the mayor has said, they're very wealthy.
Okay. All right, no problem. I might have to hustle some of these niggas later, but no problem. All right, yeah, we're down to help you. As long as you're a man of your word, we'll help you.
Okay. He kind of nods and he gestures to his 2 guard, and then the 3 of them escort you back through the town past Vaughn, who I assume you pick up.
All right, I go ahead and look over
Yeah.
to the nurse and I say, "Hey, make sure they get enough sleep and everything. And if anything comes up, just give me a call." I go ahead and go and walk over towards them.
She takes a deep bow as you leave. You guys are led outside of the little tent, or outside of the tent city, to the edges of the oasis. You can see there's maybe 5 guys just kind of leaning against trees, just kind of absent-mindedly doing nothing. And then the oasis is maybe 30 feet across.
All right.
And as you do, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. But Iban kind of stops you as you reach the edge of the oasis and says, it'll show itself if you get close to the water.
I like to cast Sacred Weapon on top of the water.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's within 60 feet of me.
Yes.
All right, I do that.
Okay, nothing
They
happens.
want us to kill it or to stop it.
I'm gonna okay. It takes the form of Vaughn the Firebolt form. That's what it takes.
Okay.
And
No-
that does nothing.
It does nothing. Iban kind of looks at you and says, it knows the difference. It's not unintelligent.
I take one step forward.
As you do, you feel the ground start to shake, and Aban kind of backs up and his guards kind of back up. And you see the ground kind of split and start to rise, and then it's like a mound of dirt kind of moving towards you. And as it gets close, you see a figure kind of start to emerge. Maybe a large, not a large, maybe 7-foot tall figure emerges, completely made of stone. Its chest piece is a piece of plate armor, and it has pauldrons and gauntlets. And it looks.
Does it look like I could communicate with it or talk to it or anything like that?
You can try.
Like, as in, like, intelligence-wise, does it look like it's intelligent? Is what I mean. My bad.
It looks. Make an intelligence check.
Hey Logan.
And
do
that's
they
a
kill this
natural
or
20.
to stop it?
Yes, John?
Do they want us to kill this or just to stop it?
They want you to stop it. Any means necessary.
A natural 20.
A natural 20. You get the feeling it can communicate, but you don't know what languages.
Okay, from the list of my languages, let's see.
We have a helm.
Would I be able to communicate with it if I spoke in Celestial or Giant?
You can try.
Helm. We have a helm there.
In the Celestial language, I speak and say, "I bring no harm."
We don't use the helm.
If that does not work, I go ahead and actually, now that I think about it, I'm being stupid and retarded. I like to go ahead and cast tongues.
I
Okay.
like to pull the helm of many languages out of the bag of holding, since you have a helm that does that automatically.
Okay.
I cast tongues and I try to communicate with them.
What does tongues do again?
Basically, no matter what the language is, should be able to understand it, understand them, and they understand me back. I gotta read it again. Spawn, you can do what you're doing, man.
I'll go ahead and put the helm on, and I'll say, "So what's the problem? You used to protect these lands, to attack everything."
You'd have to touch
Well-
manual. You'd have to touch it.
I will
You
go
can touch
ahead and I will go out to touch it. Can I hand touch it?
So you're gonna touch this thing, but you wouldn't touch the sword.
I'm gonna hand touch it.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Jeez, amazing. We can't bring you back if you die.
18.
You as it stands there hovering over you, it's got a giant hammer in its hands. It just kind of looks at you with what would be a face but no eyes or mouth. It just kind of bears down on you. You quickly just reach out, tap it, and cast the spell. It does not seem to notice.
All right. Can you understand me? Can you understand me?
It nods its head.
All right. So, what's going on?
It looks at you, and in this deep, gravelly voice, it says, "None shall pass."
I heard that from these people that they were supposed to be protected by you. What's going on?
It just repeats, "None shall pass."
Who gave the order?
It just repeats it again.
Who's your god?
It just repeats it again.
Joshua, God damn it! How far are me and Igneal from the creature?
It rushed up right to you, so you guys are only maybe a couple feet away.
I'd like to ask, can I pass persuasion?
Make a persuasion check.
All right, hell yeah. That is 23.
23. It just repeats, "None shall pass."
All right, I'm gonna see.
Gives me
Manny's right in front of it.
Yes.
I'm gonna aim about 10 feet. So we're a couple feet away from it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and step back 10 feet.
Okay.
About 10 feet behind the giant. I'm gonna go ahead and cast sleep.
It's a construct. Constructs can't sleep.
You're casting sleep?
Roll 5d8 to determine how many hit points and creatures you can affect. Spell starting with the creature at the lowest hit points within 20 feet of the spot. Will this affect construction now?
You don't know.
I guess you say that creatures are definitely not your creatures.
I will not come past you, but I'd like to know who your master is.
It just repeats it. You get the feeling that it's not altogether there. Something is definitely wrong.
Am I able to do an Arcana check on it?
You can make an Arcana check.
No, constructs are a type of creature. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast sleep.
Okay.
about 10 feet behind it. So 10 feet behind it. So Manny might get put to sleep without you waking him up.
Mm.
But roll. It says roll 5
Wait.
d8.
Do I have to roll on that?
It's
No,
just if
I
he
think
hits your hit points.
roll
Oh.
5d8 to determine how many hit points and creatures can affect with this spell. Starting with the creature with the lowest hit points within 20 feet of a spot you designate within range. Creatures fall asleep until all of its hit points rolled are used up. So Manny may get hit. I'm gonna assume Manny has less hit points than this construct.
17.
17 Arcana.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that something is binding something is binding it to the oasis, but there's something else that's perverted whatever commands it was given, and it is currently the creature is just it's not all there.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cast sleep for 20 points.
I turn to the leader and say, "Someone molested your construct."
Okay, Manuel, what's your max HP?
My max is 48.
Okay, you're not put to sleep, but the creature is also not put to sleep.
Wait, what do you mean? They go to sleep for 20 of their hit points, so until they take 20 hit points of damage.
No, you
they're
have
not
to
asleep.
you have to
No.
hit the total.
Yeah. The total hit points that they have is what it takes to make them go to sleep. That's how sleep works. So, like for instance, if like the enemy has like what 18 health left and everything, and you cast sleep and you hit them with 28 hit points of sleep, it makes them go. That knocks them out.
Yeah, a creature's hit points must be equal to or less than the remaining total for that creature to be affected.
So that works on everything except Fey creatures or people of Fey ancestry. Also, that's another heads up.
So Javon, you cast a spell and nothing happens.
All right.
I step back a bit just to see what happens.
You step back.
Yeah.
As you do, the creature kind of disappears underground and vanishes.
My secret weapon, I'm assuming, is still active. I'd like
Yes,
to. Can I actually make it turn to the form of a bucket?
you can try. Or yeah, it's a bucket.
All right, I'm gonna have it scoop up water and drag it this way.
Okay. It scoops up some water and floats over to you.
Wow. Okay, so I look over to the leader.
I drink some of the
and I
water out
tell
of the
him-
bucket.
It's crisp and refreshing. The best water you've ever had.
It's got a taste of
I
force
drink
damage
more.
on top. Tastes like force damage. I feel like the force is within me.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I put them to sleep according to how these rules are set.
I'm
It says that creatures within 20 feet of the point you choose within range are affected in ascending order. It starts with the creature with the lowest hit points, but they it says the lowest current hit point. Each creature affected by this spell falls unconscious until the spell ends. The sleeper takes damage, or someone uses the action to shake or slap the sleeper awake. Subtract each creature's hit point from the total before moving on to the next creature. So I don't have to make Manny fall asleep, but I can make 20 hit points of this construct as sleep. He's gonna be asleep until either he's woken up or he takes 20 points of those damage, which will knock out the sleep. That's me literally reading it from online. It just affects
See.
that. So I can spread it out amongst anybody within that 20
Points
feet.
of
So
creature
if I wanted to put
back.
Manny to sleep, I could use a couple points of that. And yeah, affect hit points in general. It doesn't have to do with how many hit points they have.
yeah, but Javon, the way it works is you have to hit that hit point maximum. You only rolled 20. If it has like 100 hit points, it only goes down to 80. It needs to go down to 0.
What level did you roll? Did you activate it at?
Level 2.
Level 2, so that means you have on top of that, so that's a total of 78 rolling. So the max you would be only able to go up to is 7 times 8, 56. And I'm assuming the constructor has higher than 56 HP.
Yes, it has way higher than that. And manual has higher than that too.
Nope, I don't. I'd actually be knocked out.
I know, but that's not what he rolled.
Oh, I got you.
So they're not put to sleep.
Gotcha.
I'm just trying to help each one.
Oh, you good?
Says right here that also a creature's
All
hit
right.
points must be equal to or less than the remaining total for the creature to be affected. Meaning like the total of like the rolls and the number for the sleep
Hi,
slumber ability.
Logan.
Yes.
No, you're good. I misunderstood.
I know it's
Yeah, I
been
got
a
you.
minute, but could I insight check the one guy that we talked to
Iban?
about
Yeah.
yeah, about killing this construct?
You can,
and
yeah,
just
go
telling the
ahead.
truth
Insight
about,
check him. I'll let it happen.
Okay, wisdom. Of course it's wisdom. 13.
13? He
I'll
seems
give
on
you.
the level.
I'll give you a
He
helping
seems
hand real
what?
quick.
He seems on the level.
I'll give you a helping hand. Can I assist him?
Yeah, you can assist him. Mine, you have advantage.
All right, fuck
I'm
it.
chock full of
5.
wisdom.
So 13 still.
Okay.
Damn.
He seems to be telling the truth.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself for this fast.
Okay, you are now invisible.
Alright, and I'm gonna go ahead and sneak past and go check out, I guess, what.
Make a stealth check for me. With advantage because you're
Oh.
invisible.
Gotcha.
All I see is the sand prints on the floor, just walking.
I got 15.
15?
Mhm.
You begin to move past the point where the creature emerged. It does not seem to emerge. It does not seem to have noticed you.
Alright.
I go ahead and start waving my hands around, looking at everybody, say, adios, and I turn invisible.
Okay. Make a stealth
And
check with advantage for me.
And that is a where's the okay, 17.
17?
Yeah.
As you start to walk past it, you feel the ground rumble again. As the creature
step back.
it starts to reemerge. As you step back, it dives back into the ground.
Okay. With that, I go ahead and like, with my voice just like talking in the distance, I say, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to the medical tent and see what they need be." And that's where I disappear.
Okay.
Because I got work.
I walk up, does the creature appear again, or the thing appear again?
As you get close, it starts to rise up from the ground.
As it does that, hold on. How many spell slots do I have? If I'm out of combat, would I be like, okay, so say I cast like Melf's Minute Meteors, would I be able to cast all 5 of them and hit something, or can I only send one at it?
I'm not quite sure how the spell works, to be honest.
Well, you cast it as a like you can send one as a bonus, or you can send up to 2 as a bonus action. But I'm saying outside of combat, could I just send all 5 of them at
Yes.
something? Okay. Hold on. I'm looking up Fireball real quick. Um. fucking sorcery point shit. Sorry, Arian. Gets quicken spell. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to cast Melf's minute meteors.
Okay.
That brings up 5 meteors up for me.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna use some of my sorcery points to use quicken spell and cast fireball. So I'm gonna send meteors and fireball if that's okay at the construct. At the same
Okay.
time.
Go ahead and roll damage for me. Or it has to make a dex save, doesn't it?
Let me check. I think for the fireball is a dex save. Melf's meteors is a dexterity save as well.
Okay, he fails both.
Okay. I'm trying to find my d6s, sorry. Alright, oh shit. Okay, so that's 6. I need fucking... I have to roll 18 dice in total, sorry.
You're fine.
Did he fail on both of them? Or?
Yes, he failed on both.
3, 6, plus 2, 4, plus 1, plus... Okay, so that's 6. So I need 12 more rolls. Two plus... Five. Alright, one more group of dice.
So Maya's killing the construct.
He's
to, at
attacking
least.
it.
Oh good god.
Almost done.
Oh,
61
great
damage.
gods of anime.
Okay. As the creature emerges and kind of looms over you, you just unleash hell upon it as the meteors smash into it, causing explosions, and your fireball erupts around it. It like stutters for a second, almost dropping its weapon, before it reconstitutes itself, looks you dead in the face, and that's where we're gonna end it.
Okay.